results for Envy. And a few were actually saying they were the team to watch coming into the qualifiers, as they knew that this team was performing at a much higher level. Now, they have struggled at times on this map. They've picked up wins, but they also lost 13-7 to T1. It was the only map that T1 was able to take in the series. They lost after, or they won 13-11 after that over T1, and then they, to put it in a PG term, doo-dooed on them on split 13-1, which is a map we will see at some point if we get to it. But here we go, Mitch with the frenzy, kicking things off here as they make their way out onto the site. The Killjoy with the opening kill, not something you say all that often. And it's a follow-up for Mitch as well. He's making the frenzy look wonderful as he continues this relentless assault. Gets spammed, and Mitch has now found 4. He wants the ace, but Shinobi says, well, come on, man, I gotta at least get 1. And his Cloud9 Blue with a really strong pistol round to kick things off.
But here's the thing, though, for Mitch. We say that it's unorthodox to see a Killjoy being like an entry fragger for the team. But when you're looking at Cloud9, Mitch, when he was playing as a Sage before, was kind of like an entry fragger for the team, too, playing sort of like a battle Sage for Cloud9. So having him, like I said, using a Killjoy abilities like a turret to even spot corners to start things off before they execute, he's starting to use Killjoy a little bit more offensively than what she's mainly designed or what we think she's designed to play. But for Cloud9, the way how that started off, a big paranoia towards the garden from Shinobi just allowed the frenzy to go all out and get those entries into the site. Cloud9 putting a foot on the ground early and dominating that pistol.
Now, to be fair, it's been a while since we've seen Mitch play the Battle Sage, and it was actually pretty common for a while as well, especially towards the early portions of the beta. We saw a lot of players playing that. We saw Scream do it at times, David P. We also saw Wardell, obviously, most notably do it. Mummy has to back off as the turret is actually doing a bit of damage there. Mummy almost falls to the turret. We did watch Cutler die to a turret yesterday, or if not the day before. It's quite entertaining. But it's even strength currently, 4-on-4. We've got 10s in this position, and there's targets on both sides of the arch, with one as well up on Catwalk, only one playing over on A. Reyna. FNS spotted out by 10s eventually, and that patient play, net success. There's a nice nade coming in.
30 seconds left.
Force one up onto the bench. The Kench bench doesn't provide any safety, but Food is there to gobble up 10. And now Food has to worry about them pushing through. Can step into his own flames, obviously, to try and grab up that Bulldog that's waiting. He's trying to, but that rifle is being guarded as if it's made out of pure gold. And Food has to take a straight fight with Relics. HP advantage and weapon advantage for Relics. It's 2 rounds on the board for Cloud9. They pick up the pistol in the round that follows. We'll see what Envy's able to do here as the first full buy round comes through.
Envy at this point, the way that they kind of set it up here is just trying to play it off FNS as well from how he's going to place his traps on the A side. That's going to dictate how they kind of want to stack the sites and how they want to play it too. Usually, again, on defaults on Ascent, you see a lot of trap wires on his mid side too, but so far, nothing's been utilized for Envy at all. The thing is, though, for Cloud9 is you're going to see this a lot on their side. There's going to be a big combo with the Killjoy, the Omen, and also the Breach, just to try to fault line, try to keep them on their toes for the defenders to fight back against them at A, which allows somebody like Relics to really try to play that lurk mode towards that B side. Don't be surprised if every single round you see Relics just walk towards B. This time is just watching that flank, making sure nobody's pushing up towards Catwalk, and now that it's clear and they haven't taken control of A side, now they start to move back and take control of Tree, while Relics is still going to try to look for that rotational and lurk kill.
Put down.
There's the first pickup. It's FNS. Gets a dink shot through the wall and a follow-up to the chest of Mitch. The Killjoy no longer a threat. But we got ourselves 5-on-4. 44 seconds left. We mentioned this in the last series. This map feels like you'll see a lot of rounds go down to just that last possible second. Nice dash away from the Jet to escape harm.
30
Price
seconds left.
gets that flash to fade quickly, and that results in 2 kills here for Cloud9 as Envy has been reduced to 3. FNS now trying to sneak over to the B site. Just might spot the spike as it comes around the corner. No! The timing at least initially worked out for the Reef, but now the time is continuing to be a problem.
That's it.
They may have just lost
left.
this round because they couldn't get the spike onto the site. Remember, we mentioned it. Time is so problematic for them. Tens has to go big. No! Tens gets a little bit over-eager and whiffs on the kill. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, as his last target was Spawn and could have very easily just escaped. Envy gets themselves on the board. Cloud9 plays it just a little bit too slow.
You like the idea of how Tens was going to play that, though, because it's a 2 versus
Yeah.
1 in the end. There's no time left. He knows that the Reyna actually got the kill from Spawn side, so he was hoping to move a little bit more forward to try to catch the Reyna off position with Caboose, get that first kill, then the second one onto Food. But in the end, though, it is still going to be the timing in the favor of Envy. Literal timing as well, where you had Relics that was able to move inside the site when they were trying to force a rotate. When they tried to go for some heroic play for Envy towards that mid side to get more control, when they were already at a one-man advantage. I didn't like that play, but at least they were able to step back onto it for Envy to still hold that B side and also drop in a spike here earlier, or with the low time remaining with Twice dying.
That's a big orb pickup as it allows them to utilize lockdown. And you can see some damage being dealt there as well to Food, who's trying to spam through the wall. They're trying to take out that Killjoy ult. And they actually do have a player who's trapped in it. Food trying to get away, ends up getting gunned down. There's also a Nano Swarm in position.
One player remaining.
Yet again, Envy looks
Spike
soft
planted.
as Tens is popping off. It's down to now just one. It's Finesse who's hiding inside the dark cover. And yeah, there's Tens finding a 4K on the round. This Jet just way too strong for Envy as he overruns the B-side defense and propels himself towards a 7-2 scoreline. Now, there's something I want to say about Cloud9 in general. I feel like Cloud9 has always been overlooked. Despite whatever success they may have found, everyone looks at them as the Tens and Friends roster still.
Exactly.
It's just a pug where Tens carries. That's all they ever see them as. And, you know, I kind of feel like they've done enough at this point where they should have been able to wash away that label.
Yeah.
But then rounds like that allow it to kind of resurface, so you see Tens pop off and be like, oh, yeah, still Tens and Friends. Well, you know, no. When they were Tens and Friends, they managed to scrape by a few big wins, but they've been consistently performing. I think it's about time we finally give them the respect they're due. Tens
100%.
does get a kill on the round before getting taken down by Mame. We're at a 3-on-3 yet again.
Because even then, sorry, Bach, I was going to say, even then, if you actually had Tens playing for any other team, it kind of be like Tens with X other team anyways, because he's that good as a player.
Yeah.
So now you just got to coin that away because they use that in towards beta. Now you just got to call them the Cloud9 Blue because they look so good as a unit.
Crashies waits a little too long on that first target. He wanted to go for that peek towards the stairs, but just delayed it just a bit too long. Envy, pistol's not really doing much. You can hear the turret just annoying right now, sending pulse after pulse of shots towards the position of the last remaining member of the team. 4 rounds on the board for Cloud9 Blue. This map looking a lot more attack-sided than it did the last time we watched it played out, just about an hour or so ago in the previous series.
Yeah.
And even that, I like the way that it's such a nuisance right now to play against Mitch's Killjoy turret. Because even if they don't get kills, or if the turret, like if they're trying to body peek and are going for the jiggle peek rather from the market into B main, every single time that turret is gonna sound the alarm pretty much before it shoots. Where it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily there to make damage, but just allows a player that's going to be towards B main have that right timing on his own jiggle peek to try to fight back against the opponent trying to rotate. So just little things like that seems to work out for them. But now that Envy has money in the bank, this is where things started shutting for Mame with the operator. And Crashes is going to work towards the A main, and he drops 2. So an early 2-man advantage in favor here of Envy as they fall back into sight, close the door, and have the last 2 players guess of where they should work things out here with Relics and Shinobi, the last 2 remaining.
They're going to start working their way back towards A, a recommitment towards long A. Part of that problem, though, is look at the Phoenix and Spawn currently.
Exactly. So far
I
up.
mean, they know They know exactly what's going on at this point. So Cloud9's going to have to get creative, especially when they've got 4 ults on the other side to fight against. Got Omen's Teleport, Run It Back, Hunter's Fury, and also the Neural Theft.
30 seconds left.
Possibly the most important one in the scenario. More than likely, though, Envy can sit back on those. They're not going to need them, as you're going to see Cloud9 Blue wander into the A site, get greeted with a hailstorm of gunfire. They break the door first, but it's actually a play potentially towards B. Look at what Omen's been able to do. Now, there is some hardware down. He'll have to get past, but he's going to start running it into B. Does Shinobi have the time? I don't think he timed this right. Yeah, he's not going to get it. He was just a little bit too late on that push. So, yeah, there you go. At least he gets the spike down after the round ends, but he won't be able to fight for the post plant. There'll be another round on the board, though.
Envy just played it well there. On what was remaining, right? Because as you mentioned here, Buck, when Food was pushed all the way forward as that Phoenix towards that spawn side, he was basically playing the off angle towards B Link. Should exactly what Cloud9 was trying to do, rotate back towards that B site. He doesn't have to worry about market because they have a trapwire there. And even if they make it through, there's a camera that's still up that FNS could pop open at that exact location and see them move into the site that allows them to just play the retake. So play the numbers to your side, stack to where you don't have the utilities that gives away positions, and then Envy just held that good. So 4-2 right now. We have Caboose that's going to push forward and get that first frag, and they caught him off position, off guard right now due to that Hunter's Fury.
Mame has to back off as the paint shells land right next to him. FNS lurking in that corner, able to pick up one. Now TenZ does have the AWP and the Blade Storm. Cyber Cage is going to go down, and Mummy gets a little bit of a sneak peek. There's a wallbang kill coming in the end. A flawless round coming out from Envy. The only one on the round that actually even took any damage was Mame. You saw some turbo dunks there coming out towards the tail end. Just making sure the crouch key is working, of course. You gotta always test it. Sometimes it requires a little bit of extra lubricant, so you put it in there and you just gotta like really, you know, put it to the test.
Yeah, as everybody in the chat for Nursery Gamers are making sure the 4 key works. Well, here we're
making
sure the space bar key works, right? You don't use it as often as, for example, in other games, but there are some good situations where it's very viable, just like as we just saw before. But Envy, again, it's all off Caboose, the way that he's or Mame rather, the way that he's offing so far as that Omen. And an early Cyber Cage, though, gives Relic's position away, and he's still going to continue to press forward because he just wants to try to get some sort of entry to force the rotation out of Cloud9. But he does have help from Vice this time. They could go for these pop flashes so that he could actually go through with the flashpoints rather, and then we can try to get a kill. But you saw the position from Mame. As soon as that smoke dissipates, Relics is in a tough corner right now.
FNS, just looks the wrong way, and like you mentioned, the timing works out. There's the flash lead in as well. It blinds Relics a bit. In that time, Food has picked off Mitch. TenZ coming through the market, though. It's a quick pickup. They've got to deal with Food, who's on the back end of this play, but Food isn't a meal. He's a snack, and he's gobbled up. So it'll be a round coming in with the spike being planted for Cloud9 Blue over on the B site. They're going to turtle up inside the boathouse. You've got Rolling Thunder. Vice is ready to let it loose. They're starting to work their way in. You heard the Empress pop. It's all about timing currently. There's the showstopper as well. A lot of ults being potentially thrown out here on the round. There's the Rolling Thunder coming in, but it misses Caboose, who now uses the dismiss to get into position, but it's a quick shot from TenZ. It puts everything on the remaining 2. Curveball not in the right spot, but it is this time at TenZ with a blind shot. It's now down to the spike diffuser. He's sticking in, and TenZ with the jump shot. It's a miraculous play from TenZ, and they go round again with the win, all thanks to the heroics of their jet named TenZ.
Everything was there for Envy for the retake. The first all kill from Mame. Also Caboose coming in with the Empress, getting the kill and also going with the dismiss. Going invisible, spawning the last 2 players in the back of the boathouse. They knew exactly where it was, and the curveball was perfect for Food. Yes, he missed the first one, but the second one still blinds TenZ, and TenZ still kills him blindly. And unfortunately on a 1 versus 1, when it's TenZ, oh man, most of the chances he's going to win that one too. So what a play there from Cloud9's #1. And TenZ just puts them on their back again, or on his back, and carries them forward on a 5-3 scoreline. But it's not over yet here. Envy, they still have money. The op still reigns supreme here for the defender side, and Mitch is just looking for some control on the A. Though from that turret, they see nothing, so they're still going to try to group up here. Potentially, they try to execute towards this A side again.
Tens clearing out the wine cellar. Not sure he's old enough to be doing that. I'm gonna check his ID. Food gets the first pickup on the round. Yeah, this is true. Maybe it's Cloud9 Blue at a man disadvantage currently. They're without Relics, who is their lurking Raze. Interesting role, but it does work, and we've seen it played that way on this map times in the past. There's the explode onto the site with the Jet starting things off. Stuck inside the Cloudburst, and the flashes proved to be a little bit too much for them to deal with. Caboose is around the corner. It's Mummy with the backup from on high. Shinobi with the blind kill through the dark cover. Will now pop the ult to port away. Cypher is in position. Yeah, that gets canceled. So now Shinobi has to try to make it work, as Shinobi did not pick a safe position to pop that ult, just dropped it in the middle of the site, and with 13 seconds left, this is the right play.
10 seconds left.
Hide in the corner and hope to God they don't clear it.
Oh, they'll chase it for sure. Big shadow step, but that's too late. Food's already around the corner. I think it was
the
just
shadow step got screwed up. It like sent him off to the right a little bit, so he was actually visible off the shadow step.
And unfortunately, like, that's something that has popped up. I saw a little bit there where people that are coming out of the shadow step, where you think you're going to aim of where he's going to come out of, he's always going to sidestep just a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. So I think that's a little bit iffy into maybe what's going on with the patches, but I'm sure it's going to be fixed very soon. Unfortunate for sure what happened there for Shinobi. But again, NV just did a great job to hold their grounds towards that A side. Got to give it to Crash from how he stayed cool. Despite them dashing into the site, he just waited for everything to dissipate from smokes, from flashes, and from paranoias to still capitalize on a couple of kills with help from Mame on top of that with the operator, who's looking for another entry into this round.
Mame with a quick shot on the Mitch. It's a nice flick up as well, as it blows through his temporal lobe, but it's still a 4-on-4 as he was taken down immediately, and that's a nice little upgrade. They'll be falling back off the back of that one and trying to regroup and find an opening elsewhere. Now, Caboose has actually managed to sneak into spawn. Look at the play currently, wrapping all the way around through attacker spawn. Which is
going back towards mid, though. This is a little bit off timing here, Buck.
This is surprising, too, because typically when you're on the flank, it doesn't work when you're faced against a Killjoy. So Cloud9 might not be expecting this, because more often than not, you cannot flank against a Killjoy because of that turret presence. But I would love to see what Caboose is going to do here. If Caboose times this right, it's a free kill onto Tens and might be able to spot out these players in mid as well. It's all about the read. And you've got Tens now about to expose himself to Caboose. And Caboose just takes the guaranteed kill. Going to start going back towards the B side to try and group up with the rest of the squad. They don't even need his help, as Food and FNS go big on the defense. And they've now brought us to a tie score at 5 apiece.
And that's just a great job to start things off, Mame and FNS. Sometimes his camera is put all the way up towards the arches, so he just spots anybody that's running into the site. But this time he's decided to switch it up a tad bit, putting it maybe a foot or two on the left side, so you could see over the smoke that's been popped up. So when he tags somebody, Mame comes out for a kill. Did not expect probably 3 players, but at least he did his job.
I will find them.
FNS is able to tag a second player on top of that, keeping Cloud9 kind of guessing, falling back a bit, and again allowing the flank to come through as well right after. So well done there for Caboose too, because when he saw that that Tens kind of back into him, he knew the execution was going towards B, which allowed his 2 players to also hold their ground towards that B side.
Shadows traveling.
Numbers advantage here for Cloud9 as Envy has clawed their way back into this game. It was looking a little bit more one-sided in favor of Cloud9 Blue, but Envy who had brought us to this tie point. Eventually, Cloud9 is going to have all colors of the rainbow. They're gonna have teams all across the board. They're gonna have to start going into patterns. Cloud9 flag. Nice shot coming out from Mame to pick off Vice. It's a quick flick in, moving up catwalk, and a nice escape as well, as the awkward Omen player manages to escape. Now, Tens does not have the same luck. The Killjoy ult will at least open up the defense just a bit. It's going to shove them into hell, and Caboose is actually able to pick one off. He uses the dismiss to get a little closer.
30 seconds
But it's all up to Relics now. Relics with 21 HP. Nice shooting onto his first target, Caboose, but there's another one in the same position, and Crashies just waits. And Envy has stolen the lead away
in the hash.
right before the half ends, and has a chance to potentially close things out 7-5, as the buy coming in from Cloud9 Blue is not going to be that great.
Definitely, it's going to be a broken buy coming into the last one now for Cloud9. Even at the same time, I sound a little bit sad because I saw the idea of Mitch throwing that Nano Swarm. He was trying to land it towards Hell so he could pop it off while the ultimate was up, so he could damage as many players as he can to try to move in and help Relics, who was still lurking from that B side. And that's one thing that, you know, he had to stay back for, because Food continuously pushes forward right now, and it's not one versus right there. And now he's going to look for that information. The first paint shell is going to lower it down, but that's going to be it. Right now, Relics is going to be able to escape safely, but 10 still falls early as Mummy continues to reign supreme with that operator. And that's going to be a one-man early advantage for Envy as they fall back into the sides. You get the kill, that's all you need to do. No need to reassess, no need to re-push forward, especially due to the fact that you pushed Relic so far back early into the round with Foods run it back.
Flight.
Okay. So Mame was trying to go for a repositioning after the run it back to try to get the kill onto Relics. But Relics gets the nice opener there, so that's going to even things up already on a 4 versus 4 and a lot of map control at this point because Food rotated all the way towards A side. So FNS is going to be on his own. At least he got tagged by a camera, was able to tag Skylar rather with the camera to force him back. But then again, it's only him lurking still, so they don't have more information of where Cloud9 is currently playing.
You can call him Skylar because you're tight with him like that?
Yeah, you know, no big deal.
30 seconds left.
Relic's going to be the tip of the spear for Cloud9 as they make their way towards B. And oh, I love this position from Food, but did they spot him at the last second? I thought maybe they saw it. There's the ult being popped. The answer is no. The rocket also misses, but it doesn't matter. They've managed to get onto the site and take down the defense.
10
Again,
seconds
we talked
left.
about those last second executes. And it happens here as well. He's got to stick it, but he misses the first pulse. Had he hit that, he likely would have stopped the plant. But he's just off the mark. Crashies couldn't line it up the way they needed it to happen. There's the rolling thunder coming through. Everything being sent in that direction as it is the last round. Look, veer through the wall. Might find them an opener. Get blind the initial target, but it's all up to Caboose. Relics will close things out with a nice little 3-piece at the end of the first half. We are tied up at 6-6
Switching sides
as Envy and Cloud9 Blue fight for control of the scoreboard.
And that's all done off the back of two great operators, right? One for Cloud9 being Tens, the other one from Envy being Mame at this point. And after that, it comes down to how they're executing into the sites. And right now, I think Cloud9 does a very good job with these last-second executions into the site. The rounds like that also as well could also have shown and dictate how they were able to get 6 rounds. Technically, maybe at that point, it could have been more one-sided there for Envy, should they have won that round where Tens actually clutched that 4 versus 1. Then again, though, the reality is that it's a 6-6 scoreline. We'll see if Envy could get something done here on the attacker side, where Tens is working out with the Frenzy and looking to push aggressively towards the blind or the B link side and sees nobody there. So that nullifies things for a bit, gets a bit of information out of that, but we're playing very passively towards the back mid for Envy, who managed to get the first 2 kills.
They're going to be running it towards this A site. You've got Relics starting to bail out as well. The dart giving away the position as he moves up. It's a nice little easy kill onto Caboose, and there's actually some damage being dealt elsewhere. I like the barricade coming out as the boombot comes through, but Food waiting with the ghost. A quick couple of taps onto Relic's head, and it's now down to a 2-on-3. They've still got the Killjoy coming in on the backside, and we saw how good Mitch was in the pistol on attack, and he's doing it again with the Frenzy. Not that common of a purchase, but it's working out. The Swarm Grenade goes down, and it's right behind the default box, but it actually doesn't go deep enough, as he got blinded by the paranoia at the attempt to throw, and there's a masterfully played double swing coming in from Envy. They read it right. Both players peek at the same time, and he just doesn't stand a chance.
that again, it was just off a gamble of trying to figure out how Envy is going to play that pistol round first. Maybe what they studied was thinking that they were going to try to go for some sort of a mid control from that B link. But then again, Envy said, look, the players took that back to mid, which actually caught 2 players off guard. And it's actually nice to have somebody like Caboose that's going to play towards that back mid, their first point of entry to try to get that information, and Food capitalize on a second kill. Because Caboose getting the kill, goes for a Devour, and then he heals up while he's fragging some more, and Food could be there to go for a trade, and if his teammate dies, has Purple to work with and try to re-get the kill. But then again, though, it's going to be a save round for Cloud9. TenZ opens it up on Catwalk with a Sheriff shot, while the rest of them are still looking to trade it out, but they're just looking for this mid-aggressive push potentially, but there's nobody there to attack, with the exception of TenZ there on that Catwalk.
Yet again, Cloud9 in that advantageous position of picking up the early frag. TenZ, oh, just can't quite get the timing right.
Tower down.
Has to lean back just a bit. Mitch trying to lay down damage. It's up, yep, there, you got it. Relics with the backup certainly makes it easier. Now he hits his stride with the pistol, but at that point the damage is already too much to overcome. We're down
One
to
player
2.
standing.
TenZ is trying, but
Spike
the
planted.
Sheriff just getting out of control. It's now Vice with a frenzy as the breach. Still has a lot of skills to work with, just decides to dive in. And FNS is there waiting to greet him. 8 rounds for Envy, but the first full buy round will be coming out from Cloud9 Blue. And we'll see what they decide to do with it. With the way they spent in that last round, though, there is a little bit light. They're a little bit light on the cash with some, but it will be enough that they'll be able to field a full buy, just maybe a little bit light in their kits.
That's right, and at that point too, as TenZ wasn't able to get that many kills in the first few rounds, he can't really go in for like, hey, let me drop you a rifle for Vice, and then I'll go with a Blade Storm. So they're going for a small shield, Vandal for TenZ, it's going to be Bulldog for Vice too, and you see how differently the defensive is played for Cloud9. As I talk about the control from abilities, he always leaves an alarm bot towards the back of the spawn side, leaving market kind of open, where these players can play turtled up inside the site at Bolt House, and the turret is going to be the first point of contact to get that information. And then you have the kits, the flash points from Vice, the double peaks that could come through across as well. And when the turret is going to spot some players on that sidewalk, where you're going to see basically the nanostorm pop out and allow you to kill some time for your teammates to rotate over. So let's see how Envy will attack into the site, and it starts off with a one attack.
Food runs in, hits the switch after flipping the switch on his ult. Mitch will get the openers, though, for Cloud9 as they cement themselves as defensive force to be reckoned with. It's down to just 1.
Wow.
Despite all the effort, all that fluff and thrill coming in from Envy, it's a flawless round victory. As Cloud9 Blue look at the Phoenix Flames that came out on the site, and they stomp them out and spit on it for just a little bit of extra oomph. It's a 1-round lead for Envy currently. And they're going to try and spend whatever they can to stay in this, prevent that lead from disappearing and going back to a tie score. So you've got a couple of rifles being brought into the mix, but peppered in with that is a Sheriff for both Caboose and Mummy.
Here.
You saw that from Vice when he was playing that boat house rather. They never went for a double peek. He just stayed back there and consistently pumping flash points for Mitch to come out and get those kills. So they're going to have to think of a different strategy on how they want to overtake that back of the site here for Envy at this point. But now as they see how turtle back it is here for the defenders, they want to try to have a test to see how mid is going to work out in their favor. Now, though, as you said here, Bach, it's going to be a broken buy that they have for Cloud9, but they're still going to try to go eventually for this mid control and this mid split.
Mitch in that same position he was in the last time that we saw Envy try to go for this push towards B. They've actually managed to make it up towards spawn, but FNS, who's kind of hanging back, manages to get a couple of kills, and you can see them changing their plan off that. They want to go back towards A, but they're going to take their time to get there as they have to run all the way back up Catwalk. That does allow Relics to get into a better and more advantageous position. But look at where FNS is. Relics has no idea FNS with his big brain
30 seconds left.
just
Spike
getting
planted.
the best of Cloud9. And now he's on the hunt as well, looking for those final kills. He wants the ace.
Well, the last two guys, you know exactly where they were and exactly where they play because they're in the same spots this round too. So they're just looking to save their weapons inside that B side. Crossfire set up there, but man, FNS did a good job on that lurk play. I think for him to call, let's fake towards this B side, and I'm going to see they're going to try to push towards A main. Maybe he didn't expect two players to push through, and maybe he didn't expect some loud steps to be heard towards the back mid. But thanks to that, he punished them, and now they're moving into the site now to see if the last two guys can stop. Jeffrey Bison, Mitch, first one is spotted, the turret on top of that too. He manages to stay alive for a bit, and for the second kill, as Mitch is still holding his angle. Right now, they just don't want to give his position away, so that at least, at the worst, they could save one weapon. But it seems as though they'll be able to save both into this round. But still, again, a great round there for FNS.
Nine, 7. Envy trying to take control of this first game. We'll see if they can keep it. Again, it's important to note that this is Cloud9's pick. However, in the last series, what did we see? Teams trading picks. Now,
Yep.
I will say this. Split has been a very good map for Envy for a long time. If you look at the old roster and the current roster as well, they play Split quite well. So, if Envy can manage to scrape together a win here over Cloud9, that'd be a huge boost, as Split is going to be difficult for Cloud9, with the exception of them getting to start on the defense. However, we've seen really strong first halves from Envy on the attacking side as well. So, definitely not a team you can just shrug aside as being like, well, we get to start on the defense, so we're fine. There is an alarm bot down, and that's going to spot them out. Mitch now gets the intel. Great flash. Nice setup, and a follow-up paranoia as well with the double flashpoint. Really well played from Cloud9. A solid setup in mid that prevents Envy from really being able to gather up control.
Yeah. Again, as Cloud9 was able to sell that fake Envy was able to sell that fake on that previous round. We readapted here for Cloud9. Look at how far back you have Vice playing. He's playing on the staircase here of B, and is still able to a flashpoint for Mitch as soon as the alarm bar gets peeked out. And he saw three players there.
30
he could have
seconds
been
left.
dead to rights if a flash wasn't there. So thankfully, they're able to run that utility together and get that first kill. Make it a 5 versus 4 situation where finally they turtle back into the site where they've been such a huge anchor with this double play too.
Nowhere to run!
Position from Mitch should work out nicely. This is a great ult
seconds
coming
left.
out from Crashies, though, as Envy manages to crack into that B site despite the early
Spike
presence
planted.
from Cloud9 in mid. And now they've got the spike down as well. No ults available for anyone at this point, so it's just a game of rifles, and there's Shinobi picking up that first kill. Hot Hands does go down top stairs, coming in from Phoenix on site. They're just starting to work their way through.
Oh,
Tens with the
One
react.
enemy remains.
Doesn't stand a chance, and now it's all on Crashies. He's stuck inside the dark cover. As great as a push it was from Envy to get onto the site after struggling to gather up mid control, Cloud9 comes through with a fantastic retake, and 3 players survive the round win for C9.
It was such a beautiful entry there for Envy to start things off too. They played against the smoke that was thrown up on sidewalk, and that recon dart gave enough position to see if there was only 1 or 2 players playing in the back of Boathouse. As they only saw Vice, that's how you saw that wide swing come in on the sidewalk, knowing that Mitch is playing somewhere out in the open of the site instead. And then the Hunter Sphere, of course, makes it perfect for them to go for a pulse plan situation. But somehow on a retake, the only thing that was really used there and that was left on a retake was Shinobi with a dark cover. And a dark cover covering the right side of the entrance just allowed Tens to move in towards that left side on that sidewalk and just distract everybody again. The wall bang, of course, is another thing that you don't like to see on the enemy side. But now into this round, they're just going to try to move a lot faster than they did on that previous round. They catch Cloud9 off guard, they move into B, and they get a plant where it's going to be the retake play again. But you do have alert from Crashies with his Spectre.
Out of my way.
Crashies does a little bit of work. Does take down Shinobi twice
Initiated.
with a quick response. Oh, I like the way this ult comes through because it has a little bit more height than one might anticipate. He tried to spam through that wall, and it really wouldn't work out so well. Tens flies in with the knives out. Yeah, that doesn't work out well at all, despite the fact that they had the ult coming in, the lockdown. They don't actually wait for it to pop. They try to get in as it's building to that final point. They fall before that can happen. They did trap one though. I guess that's something. But it's gonna be around for Envy as the back and forth battle continues in the second half.
But here's one of the things as well for Envy. They're able to push aggressively and explode into a site, but while they're actually clearing the site and going for a plant, FNS is still able to throw trap wires into the ground before he actually gets into a position without getting killed. So relying a lot on his team and for him to put his trap wires down there, that's big balls. And you got to give it for how he's calling it as the IGL for Envy. Because of that, when they had the Blade Storm come through, well, he got trapped by the trap wire on that retake, and that's how they're able to trade that kill. But this round, though, a trade after trade of 4 versus 4, but low HP on the defense is going to be Relic.
Not ready.
Off your feet!
Nice rocket coming out around the corner from Relics.
One player remaining.
Doing great work as the Killjoy yet again. And there's the quick peek coming out from Tens. A fast round, much faster than we've seen previously, as Cloud9 stops the push dead in its tracks. And we have a zipper forming on the scoreboard. Back and forth they go as they zigzag their way on the scoreboard. The buy gonna be a little bit difficult for Envy. So strapped for cash, they're gonna have to work with pistols. A couple of sheriffs being brought into the fold. You've also got FNS with the Frenzy. But on the opposite side, you've got the AWP. You've got rifles for everyone. So this would be a nice chance for Cloud9 to not only tie the score, but also build up some money to potentially fall back on as well.
Found alarm bot down.
And with that, the positioning of the alarm bot is a little bit more further up here too. So you're starting to see that Cloud9 really wants to fight back for this mid because it's been explosive for 2 rounds previously for Envy. This round, though, with the shares that they have, they're just going to try to full explode towards this area where Mitch might get caught off guard. He gets dinked out of that, forced out of position, and he gets paranoid. Thank God that he was able to put down that nano swarm so that he's able to have some help and also now hold their ground from Envy with the pistols.
Vice trying to dodge the pulses, but it's not working out so well. Caboose goes for the heal over the dismiss, and it backfires as he's dispatched of by Mitch. They're still trying to work their way onto the site, and Mitch is just anchored in the boathouse. Relics from distance. Let's get a kill onto Food. Mission shot, though. Oh, there you go. It's actually Food who falls there in the end. Food was the one that picked up
30
the kill
seconds
onto
left.
Relics. Mummy decides, hey, I'm going to take the guarantee and go for the spike plant over on A. Got a rifle, it's all about timing. Tens is there just a little too quick. That's a real ballsy peek, by the way, coming in from Tens with just 15 HP. Had he been prepared, he brings it down to a one-on-one where he actually has the HP advantage over the Killjoy. So, a little bit sketch. Could have been a round potential there, but Tens knows what he's doing far more than I do in the game, and he ends up coming out on top of that one-on-one exchange. This is a big round for both teams. That round ended up being a lot more costly for Cloud9 than maybe it should have been. So both teams are in dangerous positions here. If they lose this, their money is going to be in just pieces. But even if they win it, and they don't win it easily, their money also isn't going to be good.
And now we have one of those rare occasions that you mentioned before, Bob. It comes down to aggressive, offensive operators. And you're still going to have that ability by Mame. And it's still going to be a kill, starting things off, though, for Envy. We're looking for this. The curveball kind of misses, blinds himself on top of that, but gives the information that Mitch is in there. So the flashpoints are coming through, but he has some support. Vice is trying to flashpoint back. He's the one that's flashpointing to actually try to hold the push from the attack. Food still manages to get the kill. Crash is falling right behind and to dismantle the defense actually on the B side. So a great execution from Envy at the end of the day, despite them being held back slightly. And the numbers advantage that you kind of had from Cloud9 at the crossfire setup at the market, you still had Envy did a great job to play for the numbers, play for the trades, and still take the upper hand out of all of that fight.
Well, now Relics is the last one standing, just hanging on to an op in deep mid. And he's holding it with white knuckles right now, fearing a push that could come from any angle. The jiggle peek from Food, not anticipating that deep set from Relics, so gets a little bit too far up before going for that little slide of the shoulder. Relics able to take a nice chunk out of his chest. But it will be an 11th round regardless. Coming in for Envy as they take control of the scoreboard. You know, they say that Valorant, a child game, look to cartoon graphics to make kid player happy like children's show, but as a grown man, I am loving the games we've been getting today, and this one is definitely delivering as we go deeper and deeper into this second half, getting closer and closer to that 24th round, and the potential for overtime continues to loom. As TenZ is going to rock a pistol and go for the Blade Storm play. You've got 3 ults on both sides, so this round is likely going to have a lot of action.
Exactly. As we get closer to the end of regulation,
Get out of my way.
the money is also not that great for either players too. So you're seeing the situations where how did they adapt with the money situation that they have left? And TenZ was trying to shoot that off, but he actually didn't shoot it on time. Or actually didn't shoot it at all until he realized it and finally broke it to break free. Thankfully, nobody was there to trade off. But they're pushing aggressively for Envy inside this A side. Mitch is playing at the bottom here of Hell. There's an opponent just across the corner, but it gets dismissed away. And Mame moves forward. So somehow this is working out here for Envy with such an aggressive push towards the A side. Now Relics is just going to be the last man standing on a 4 versus 1. Does have a showstopper, but it's looking at the match point, and it will be for Envy as Caboose seals that last kill.
Match
We have
point.
12 to 10. How is that money going to be down for Cloud9? Can they catch up? Can they bring this into overtime?
It's going to be a brutal round likely for Cloud9 as Envy has got themselves to this point. Yeah, look at that cash. The credits just not where they need to be.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're still trying to figure out how they want to spend, so there is a Bulldog in play for TenZ. Thing is, never count them out. You've got Relics as well with the showstopper, so there's at least something there. The question is whether or not it will be enough. Right now, there is almost no presence towards B whatsoever. Stacking most of their eggs towards short and mid. In fact, they're sending a lot of their resources away towards that A site. And even the Jet is now starting to shift over. This B site is completely empty. There is not a lick of utility even dropped in that portion of the map.
Right now you see how it's stacked up here for Cloud9 because they know the money's low, so they're just going to gamble it up towards the A. Just have one guy watching that flank or watching a B hold on by himself, and who none other than TenZ right now with that Bulldog. But Envy knows that, you know, there's got to be something going on because nobody has pushed out to get any information yet. So they're still playing it very cautiously. And Mitch still manages to get the first kill. We're staying alive here for Cloud9 as they drop the first 2 towards his mid side. And Shinobi shadow steps away. So this is huge right now for Cloud9 to stay alive.
"30 seconds left."
Crashies working his way towards the wine cellar. Cloud9 has somehow managed to get themselves to this point.
Enemy tag.
Can't quite count them out yet. We mentioned it, still possible, still certainly possible, and they've managed to kind of break Envy on the round.
10 seconds left.
Running away, licking their wounds, saving what little they've got to bring it into the next round. So Mummy's got the op. He's going to settle himself in the corner and his teammate right by his side. Round number 24 will occur, and the chance for overtime is certainly there. We'll take a look at the scoreboard so you can see what the buy is going to look like coming in from both teams. Losing Relics towards the end, yeah, that actually hurts. The cash, not exactly the worst, as there is money to go around, but you can see there is at least a little bit of impact, as that gun could have potentially been dropped towards Shinobi and allowed him to get full armor, but instead he's got to go down to light armor. And then look at the opposite side. Envy's got an op, which, even though it's the attacking side, the op has been a little bit different in the last few weeks since updates have kind of changed the way the game has been played. There's no op on the other side, no match for Mummy on the defense.
And I like the fact that despite them having that much money, they didn't want to try to go into the site to try to hurt the economy of Cloud9. because the idea is they could still buy into the next round, but they don't want to give that off necessarily a tangent to the next round. So that's why they save their weapons. But into this round here, Mumme's trying to get an opening towards that side, but it got smoked out. He's going to have to fall back and wait for a bit. But Envy continues to play this very slowly, where Cloud9, they're just shifting back and forth. An early stack towards the A side did not work out, or they don't see anything to start, so they're looking to shift back towards the mid, where they could have faster rotates. Look how passively Vice is playing at the same time, too.
You should run.
There's that Killjoy ult. It's interesting to say that the way that it plays, it actually blocks out mid, but it's actually Tens that goes down, and oh no, not like this. They got so close. Surely it can't end this way.
30 seconds
NSG
left.
has a 5-on-3 as they start to work their way into B. The spike's going to be planted, and Caboose has one hell of a flank. It's an easy kill onto Relics. A dismiss to get away. There was another target inside the market. It's Shinobi, but it's all falling apart. It's now down to just Shinobi. And what can he do? Takes out the first target. There's a Phoenix flying in with a flashbang just behind him. It will be Envy who take map number 1 in the series over Cloud9 Blue 13.